Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another video. So today is going to be episode number 3 of my Getting Started series where I teach you guys the basics of nutrition, training, and all that good stuff. So today I'm going to be talking about the best diet to lose weight. Are you ready? It doesn't exist. There's no one diet that's gonna magically make you lose weight. I'm sure you've heard this before, or maybe you've heard the opposite. Maybe you used to believe that there was one diet that would help you lose weight. When in reality, as long as you stick to a calorie deficit, no matter what diet you choose to do, you will lose weight, or lose fat, I should say, because weight loss and fat loss are not the same. So whether you're keto or vegan, or you eat a high carb or a low carb, or different kinds of different diets, it doesn't really matter as long as you stick to a calorie deficit. So obviously the title of this video is a bit of clickbait because I wanted to lure you in here into the circle of truth, where I will tell you exactly step by step how you can find out what your maintenance calories are and how to turn that into a calorie deficit. That way you can lose fat. So obviously we've all heard of these calculators online that will tell you, plug in all your details and it will give you exactly how many calories you need to be consuming to achieve your goal. And that's cool and everything, but these calculators are super inaccurate. They can give you a rough estimate, and if you're lucky, the rough estimate will work for you, but a lot of the time it is just a rough estimate and not more than that. And if you want to find the exact numbers for you, it's going to take a bit more time, but at least that way you'll know for sure what works, and you'll be using yourself as an experiment essentially. All right, so basically when it comes to calories in versus calories out, you have these two components, right? You have the calories in component and then the calories out component. So the calories in is what we're going to be looking at first. That is how many calories you consume on a day-to-day basis from food, and if you drink your calories through liquid calories as well. So what you're going to be doing is over a 4-week period. 4 weeks is important, that way we get accurate results. I want you to track how many calories you're eating every single day. Don't change what you've been eating already. We just want to see where you're at right now. So eat the way you normally would, but track everything. You need to weigh things out. Some people might think that weighing things is extreme. It really isn't. It's just accurate. I need you to look at this more as a numbers game and a scientific approach, rather than attaching any emotional value to how many calories you're eating. I don't want any emotions in this. I want this to be just purely numbers, data, science. All right, so let's say over 4 weeks you're going to be tracking exactly how many calories you're eating, and then we're going to average out that number over the course of the 4 weeks. And you will also be looking at your weight. So for your weight, what you're going to be doing is, again, weighing yourself every morning on an empty stomach after using the bathroom when you wake up. Again, no emotional attachment to your weight. It is not a number that defines you. We're just using this for data and just to see the impact that your caloric intake has on how much you weigh. And we'll also be taking measurements around your waist, because the waist measurement is the most important one that is relevant to fat loss more than anything else. So what you're going to do is take an average of your weight week by week. So week 1, my average weight was this number. Week 2, this was the average. The reason why we're going to be taking weekly averages is because obviously your weight does fluctuate on a day-to-day basis, and you want to see just the overall trend of your weight across these 4 weeks. So that is the calories in component that we will be tracking. Now the calories out component is very important as well. So basically the calories out component is called your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE for short. So your TDEE is made up of a number of things. The first one is your BMR, which you can't really control that much because it's based on your genetics, it's based off your age, your height, your weight, and it's basically the number of calories that your body burns just keeping you alive. You could be bedridden for the entire day, but your body is still, keeping you alive, performing vital operations in your body. So it's called your basal metabolic rate. So we're not going to really look at that, but that's just a component of how many calories you're burning a day. Next, you have your exercise activity thermogenesis, or EAT, and it's basically the amount of calories you burn through formal exercise, so by working out, doing cardio, things like that. And then you also have your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is what you burn just by moving around all day. Let's say you work an active job, or you fidget a lot naturally, or you do a lot of gardening, or you do a lot of cooking, things like that. And this basically is something we will be controlling as well through your daily step count. And then the final component of your TDEE is called the thermic effect of food, TEF. You can slightly control all this, but the effects are quite negligible to be noticeable. We're not going to really be looking at the thermic effect of food, but I will explain it to you. Basically, your body does burn calories digesting the food that you eat. And in terms of protein, carbs, and fats, I did talk about this in my previous episode of this series. I said that protein has the highest thermic effect of all 3 macronutrients. So in the calories out component, I want you to track over these 4 weeks how many cardio sessions you're doing per week on average, and then how many steps you're doing on average. All right, don't change anything you normally do. We just want to track where you're at right now. So once you're at the end of these 4 weeks, we can start looking at the numbers and analyzing the data that we've collected on you. So I'm gonna just take random numbers, arbitrary numbers. Again, you really don't have to look at these numbers as applicable to you. It's just an example so we can make things easy. So let's say over the course of the 4 weeks, the person that tracked their weight stayed the same, pretty stable over 4 weeks, and that their calorie average was 2,000 calories per day. This means that their maintenance calories are 2,000 calories per day, but these are their maintenance calories for the amount of activity they're currently doing. So that takes into account the fact that they are doing cardio twice a week, let's say, for example, 2 30-minute sessions per week, and that they are doing 10,000 steps on average every day. So from this point on, let's set a goal for yourself. You want to put yourself in a calorie deficit. So to create a deficit, we have 3 options. You can either cut down the amount of calories you're consuming, you can increase the amount of calories that you're burning, or you can do a combination of both. I personally like doing a combination of both, that way it's not too extreme on either side, and then it is more sustainable for you. So to create a good deficit, I wouldn't go too aggressive, but then again, you want to make the deficit significant enough for you to see changes. So I'd recommend between 15 to 30% of your calories being cut. That way you are in a pretty good deficit. So for the sake of this video, in our example, we will be cutting down this person's calories to 1,750. So that's a 250 calorie deficit from eating less. And then we will be adding 2 extra cardio sessions. So the person will be doing 4 times 30 minutes of cardio instead of 2. And obviously with cardio, there is no way to know exactly how many calories you're burning through cardio, which is why we're going to be tracking it in the form of like how many sessions per week and how much time you're doing per session. And try and keep your cardio sessions consistent by tracking the speed that you use on the treadmill, for example, or on the Stairmaster, things like that. So that is basically how you can create yourself a calorie deficit that is specific to you, your body, your numbers, your activity levels, everything like that. So do not rely on these online calorie calculators because they just give you rough estimates. The best way is to take yourself, take the data, analyze everything that you've been doing, and then moving forward, you are in a calorie deficit. Now, where do we go from here? You're in your calorie deficit. I want you to make sure you still keep track of everything. So make sure you're maintaining those 10,000 steps, and then keep on taking weekly progress pictures. So same lighting, same time, same outfit every single week in the morning if possible. Keep on taking measurements of your waist around your belly button. Keep on weighing yourself. Weight doesn't always accurately show fat loss. However, if you have a lot of fat to lose, your weight going down is a good indicator of fat loss. However, if you're just trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, measurements and pictures will be your best friend because muscle is more dense than fat. And yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what topics you'd like for me to cover in future episodes of my Getting Started series. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for 3 weekly videos. And until next time, bye guys!